Yeah.
OTAs and everything. How's it feel to get back out there and pretty much continue on the strong start you had in the rookie camp?
It's really a blessing just to be able to get back on the field. I mean, I dealt with a knee injury from the first game of my last season in college. That it was lingering around, so I had to get that dealt with. But thankful to God and the training staff, I'm good enough to go right now, and I feel great. And I'm just excited to be out here.
What have you learned from Reggie so far, just as far as like getting open? He was saying that's one of your specialties, but just learning from a guy who obviously is really, really good at this level.
Yeah, I mean, just in meetings, giving little pointers here and there. His point of view on things he did, because like you said, he was all pro, should be gold jacket. So he's been there, done that. So anything he says, pretty much listen to. And then for me, basically, it's just adjusting from college to the league, little things like splits and snap counts and just different alignments on plays. I'd say that's the main thing right now. I'm getting used to college. We were more lenient. They didn't really care where we lined up per se. It was basically just go get open. So now I got to learn just different alignments, different positions and stuff like that.
Josh, you mentioned the knee that had been bothering. Did you have something done with it?
I mean, that's just disclosed between me and the team, but issues taken care of.
Mm-hmm. Josh, were you able to take part in the Miami 3-day trip, or was this your first field work?
Nah, I took part in that with the guys, so it helped us grow as a little group together. I did that as well, so I was out there.
How was your and Anthony's? I mean, you guys went kind of viral for the parking lot stuff. How was your guys' relationship in Rosen?
Yeah, me and Anthony, we cool. I mean, he's my roommate right now for camp, so every night we talk a little bit about the practice and just things we're gonna do tomorrow. I like having him as a roommate because I can just tell him I'll be open whenever and throw me the ball. So, but yeah, Anthony's a good dude. He's surprising me a little bit as well. He's got some crazy ability. I saw that throw he made today to Alec, and just a few other throws he made. He flicks his wrist and the ball goes 60 yards. So I'm glad he's out there. I'm glad Garner's out there. We got two good quarterbacks.
Josh, how would you describe Shane's coaching style and how he's putting his fingerprints on his team?
Yeah, I mean he's hard on us, but he also loves on us too. So he takes care of us as well. We've had 2 practices in about 4 days. We have a lot of walkthroughs though, so we got to perfect that. But he wants us to be good. Hard on me a little bit as well. So I like Coach Steichen though. I'm glad I'm here.
I know he's been doing just an hour practice this week. He's kind of get you guys into it after just working out without doing football activities. How has that been different for you?
I'd say yeah. College, Coach Brown, he did kind of something similar. It was more hour 30, hour 45, but we're way more fast-paced here. So even though it's an hour, it doesn't really feel like an hour. It feels like you've been out here 3 hours when you're running around full speed, and everybody out here is competing for a job. So it's a lot of money on the line, a lot of jobs on the line. So dudes out here giving it their all. So it doesn't feel like an hour. It feels more like 2-3.
Josh, how does practicing against Kenny Moore kind of up your game here?
Yeah, I mean, Kenny Moore, probably one of the best. He is one of the best slot corners in the league. He's physical. I know I got to come with my A game every day. He disguises his coverage as well. He's about a 7-year vet, so he knows what he's doing. So having him out here, it should make the game a lot easier. Him and Tony Brown, usually the guys in the slot. Tony's physical as well. So having those guys, it's a little different from college. They're athletic. They're short, stocky kind of guys. So they kind of same build as me. So it's tough out there, and it's good work.
What have you learned from Pitt so far, obviously being the top dog in the season?
Yeah, Pitt, he's a guy. I mean, he's kind of taking me under his wing. I talk to Pitt a lot. Just little things like if I don't know what something on the schedule is or what I need to do here and there, Pitt will help me out. And then on the field as well, he knows a lot of plays. So when I'm on the field with Pitt, even if I know the play, he's gonna run by me. You line up on the right, you got a crossing route, you got this. So he's gonna give me stuff like that just to help me out because he knows I'm a rookie. So yeah, Pitt's very helpful to me. Isaiah McKenzie is as well. He helps me a lot. So I appreciate those guys.
What sort of advice did you get from your dad and your uncle just about approaching an NFL training camp and making the most of it?
Really, my dad just told me take every day one day at a time. You can't really count the last day going into the next one because if you get up on your past successes, you kind of fall back, or like if you dwell on the past, your mistakes, then you might mess up the next day. So my dad's just telling me take every day one day at a time. My uncle pretty much says the same thing. And just go out there every day and compete. That's the main thing. I love competing, so I feel like it's right up my alley.
Like you said yesterday, you got
Last one here.
Say that again, my fault.
You already said you kind of see the game on the never like you rough around. You got to be the coach. Do you feel that a little bit out there?
Yeah, I feel as if the transition from college to here, it's not as like bad. It's much faster, of course. So I just got to play faster. But I wouldn't say it's too like overwhelming for me. The coverages are different. They disguise it a lot more. They run a lot different more variations. So I gotta really learn more of that. But otherwise, I mean, I'd say like my dad, he's prepared me a lot for this. And then I played football since I was 6 years old. So I have a pretty good feel for the game. So now I'm just adjusting to this new level.
Thanks,
This will go up just a little bit for him.
Come on, man. You trying to slide up?
Well, I got to make sure that they can walk through here.
Yeah, he's coming through this.
But then I will. Yeah, I want to get a.
Ryan Kelly. Ryan Kelly right here.
Ryan Kelly. Yes, I will slide right like this. My bad, guy.
You guys can fire away. It's another year where a new quarterback is going to be under center for you. How does it feel going into this one with a little bit of a younger feel with Anthony Richardson coming in instead of the veteran presence?
They've been great. Obviously, when Gardner came in day one, I mean, his energy, the way he prepares, when you go out there and give it everything he's got every single day, they definitely on the table. And I think that mentality, obviously having Anthony, I think from where he was at in OTAs to where he was today, calling plays in the huddle, the enthusiasm, the command of that huddle, I thought was incredible. So to see him make those strides is really awesome.
First one, you, Quentin, and Brayden have really taken ownership of your room and moving forward, making sure everything goes smoothly. What kind of things have you guys done to right the ship, I guess?
I mean, I think it was just a reset after last year, putting that together and saying, look, as crazy as last year was, all the things that were transpiring, like, we knew that we're still the same players, right? We still have the same guys. We can go do what we wanted to do. The first half of Minnesota, we knew what we wanted to do. These games, and we look back at the film, I thought Tony did a great job of highlighting a lot of the plays that we had last year. It's not all bad. You get some miscommunication, breakdown, stuff like that happens, and it gets blown out of proportion. But it's like you turn on the other plays that nobody talks about. But we're dominating. This is what you have to go do. And I think that he's been a great factor in that role just to bring us all back and give us that bond, that band of brother mentality of going back out there and just doing it for each other. It's been awesome.
I realize everybody takes each other on business. Is it impede the progress of the offense in Day2 for that thing?
I mean, they feel it. I mean, he's obviously our guy, great running back, and it's been that way for the last couple of years. So it is weird. I think it's kind of the same thing as you miss any game, right? It's always they always say it's a plug and play business, but when you're missing like a star player like that, it is tough. But I hope the guys that have been out there so far have done a great job. I think Zach Moss is doing an incredible job with some young guys in there. We're really getting their chance to shine. So obviously, hope he gets back out there soon.
How does a running back help an offense? Talking about how you can kind of force them, but
yeah, I mean, it's not just running the ball; it's communication. It's getting in there in protection meetings, learning it. It's so much of what running backs do is protection. They don't see that; it's not the sexiest stat in the world. But certainly having those both abilities to do that is such a big crucial role, and that's why he's great.
Ryan, what have you seen from the young guys in Fries and Ryan?
It's been great. I mean, just everybody in the room, right? Like it's a place that guys want to come to right now. It's a place that that we love, right? Like it's that sacred room that we didn't have the last couple of years. And I thought it's just been amazing to be back and with the guys. And obviously, training camp's so special because you're really growing the entire offensive line together, right? It's the young guys we're bringing along. It's the guys that have been there for a long time, like me, you, and Brayden. And just building it out, and that's what's awesome about it.
Ryan,
the adjustments you had to make with the entirely new offensive staff and the offensive line coach even in Europe.
This is kind of the game. It's part of the NFL. Luckily, Shane's come from the Eagles, where it's not too different. But I think Tony's done a great job of listening to players too. I think it's a hugely missed point in the NFL as far as coaches knows. You don't let players play. They learn through experiences. He doesn't have all the answers. We don't have all the answers. So it's always a collective peer-to-peer collaboration. And at the end of the day, he's the coach. Listen to him, but I thought he's done a great job of listening to us and seeing input on our part and just collecting talking. That's how you get better. That's how we grow.
Ryan,
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I mean, it's. I always think about what it'd be like to have both those guys in the room. And I think at one point those two and Frank were all together, so it's cool. And we just love Shane so much. It's awesome.
If there's one word to describe this year's line, what is that?
I mean, I'd say beast comes to mind. after last year, I think that we all kind of took a couple steps back from the game. We didn't really talk to each other for a week or two. And I think that we needed that to really think about last year and last couple of years, how they've gone. And when we came back in the beginning of April, mid-April, the energy in the place had changed. I could tell as soon as we walked in, guys were happy to be back. Guys were ready to go back to work. And I mean, it's probably hard for you guys to see it and write paper about it, but being in that room every day the last 4 months, seeing the room develop and getting back to where it was before, has been really special. So,
is there a strong camaraderie outside of the practice field? Is there a strong camaraderie outside of the practice field where you guys get together and stuff?
Oh yeah, it's got to be. I mean, it's always been that way. Obviously, COVID was a little weird for a couple years, but guys hanging out, guys going to dinner, guys pulling shit together. Like those are, that's just the best part of being an offensive lineman in the NFL, man. It's like we've got guys from all walks of life, coast to coast, north to south, and to come together, knowing that like not everybody's going to be here in a month from now, but like this time is so special. And we have 2 great coaches in there who are pushing us, who are instilling all that faith in us, and really gaining all that confidence back for every player. I think it's amazing.
This offseason kind of the first one where your name came up a little bit in trade rumors. How do you been kind of attacking that? Is that a different aspect of the offseason?
I don't care. I don't look at it.
Ryan, sorry if this has been asked. How have you seen Shane put his fingerprints on this team?
It's been amazing. I mean, I think 2 things come to mind. It's just the execution, and then also just competing and having fun. I mean, a guy like that, he understands what it takes to get to that level. Like, look at their, the season last year that they had. The first year they got to Philly, when they started out a little slow and everybody was doubting them, right? Come back from that. But also, it's a game of like having fun. Like, you can go to work every day and be miserable. Things aren't going great, this and that, and that's an awful place to be around. But Shane's, he mixes in the competitive fun, the greatness, the excellence he's going to hold every guy to, but also like calling out everything that's small, right? If you're missing something here, it's a walkthrough, and there's a bad snap, or we're not in the right formation, you guys can get called out, and that's how you hold guys accountable. That's how you get better as a team.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Yep. Appreciate you. Yeah, it's gonna be wild times when they come here. So
Awesome.
See ya.
Everyone doing?
Is that it?
I'm ready when you guys are.
Okay.
You got nothing today?
Coach, why the decision to just do the 1-hour practices this first week?
Well, yeah, we went an hour yesterday, or first day, and then hour 15, and we'll ramp it up tomorrow to hour 30. Just a ramp up period, just taking care of these guys, getting them back into football shape. They worked out in the summer, now they're back in the training camp. But really pleased with the tempo, really pleased with the energy in practice today.
Some of the injuries around the league kind of indicate that thought process for you a little bit.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, some of those things, some injuries are going to happen, right? It's football, right? It's going to happen. You try to prevent as much of those. Obviously, the best player available. So you want your best players out there on Sundays and try to prevent those injuries. He's got a little injury.
I heard EJ Speed say that he was talking to Zaire and he was like, man, that was kind of fun today. How are you instilling that fun back into these training camps?
I think just like the connection, just having fun competitions, TV room, things we do in there, and just always just creating that growth and just the interactions. Guys have energy. I don't mind just talking trash out there. I love that in practice. I think that brings excitement. I think it brings a lot of tempo, a lot of energy. The deep ball that Anthony had to Alec, how important is it for wide receiver to understand, hey, I can get that ball downfield, Anthony can get that ball downfield?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, when you got a guy like Anthony that can get out of the pocket and make those plays, big plays come off scramble plays, and that's something we talk about in the meeting room, work in practice and walkthroughs, and when it comes up like it came up today, and great that made this one play to Alec was good to see.
How do you think Anthony did with the first team today?
I thought he did a really nice job. The thing that we were looking for, obviously he was stacking the days in spring, and then you get that time off in the summertime. We didn't want him to take a step back, and I don't think he has done that at all. I think he's continued to improve and grow, and we're going to keep going.
Shane, we'll see what happens with JT. What are the other running backs showing you?
I'm really pleased with Zach and those guys, and Evan and Dion. I mean, and Xavier. I mean, all those guys are coming together. They're all doing a really nice job.
Shane, what do you think of? It's sort of like an injury. He's not here, so you move on.
Yeah. I mean, we plan on him being here. Like I said, he's on PUP, and as soon as he's healthy, he'll be back on the football team working with those other guys.
When you watch Xavier Scott, was listed as a receiver and running back by the team. He's only been participating with the running backs so far in camp. Is that something you anticipate continuing?
Yeah, right now we do. I mean, he's played a lot of different things. I mean, he played the tight end, the receiver, the running back, and all that stuff. So right now,
Jack Leonard being back so early and doing all the things that he's doing. How important has it been for him to be doing what he's doing?
I mean, I'm so excited for him to be back. You can feel it in practice. You know, a veteran leader.
You know what? That's good. I'll do that.
High-profile player, and just having him back on the
Started basically. It's great to have improving every day. First day you always get a couple of communication errors and stuff in there. You clean them up day 2, but obviously there's still stuff to improve on. So that's what we'll be working on.
As many guys you got coming back amongst your group, did you feel like you had the bar set a little higher here at the start?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the bar is to be the best possible offensive line. And that's just a high standard to uphold, and that's something to work on every single day. You work on it individually, but then also as a group, you work on the communication, on the chemistry within the group, and that's something to just keep working on.
The pace out here feels very quick. There's a lot happening very quickly. Kind of tell me about the efficiency of these practices and how quickly everything's going.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's just one period after the other. I mean, even if you mess up, 2 seconds later you're going to run the next play and get them up for it. And then there's not too much time to think about it. You go out there, you know your plays, you run them, and then afterwards in meetings you go over your mistakes and you learn from them. But out here it's just one play after the other.
Bernhard, year 2 for you. How would you say from this point last year to now, in what ways do you feel like you have improved and grown as a player?
To be honest, really in every way of the game. I mean, I feel better physically, mentally, really settle in Indy. My wife and I love it here. And then as a player too, get a new coaching staff, a couple of different, philosophy changes, but I mean, at the end of the day, football is football, and you work on your basics, and all off season, you work on your footwork, you work on your hand placement, and I think I've improved in all of those aspects.
Any kind of differences between from the coaching you got last year to this year on coaching wise?
I mean, every coach is a little bit different. Obviously, we had a great coaching staff last year, a great coaching staff this year. A little bit different, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's just about making the best football play out of yourself. So it's hard to tell.
Understood.
What would you say you improved on most in the offseason? What was your main focus?
My main focus was just, gain some weight, keep my.
You look bigger.
Appreciate that. But at the same time, keep the speed and then just work on hand placement in the pass pro as well as also in the run game. And I think I've made strides in both of those. So just excited to show it now.
Do you feel like you're able to hit the ground running a little bit faster in year 2?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, year 1, obviously everything's spinning. You move down here. You're learning your NFL playbook for the first time. Everything's a little bit crazy, and year 2 it really settled in for me personally. And, yeah.
Bernhard, with Blake Freeland coming in as a rookie, obviously you were there last year. What advice have you given him, or how have you kind of tried to help him and be, the kind of that mentor figure for him coming in his rookie year?
I mean, I'm just trying to tell him to be true to himself. I mean, take everything in you can, because you're gonna hear the coaches have different coaching points. You're gonna have different players talk to you about the way they do it. It's just important to to play into your strength, and I think that's something that I learned too over the last year, that you cannot always do everything a different player can do. Obviously, there's different body types out there, even within the same position. Like a lot of the tackles look very different. So it's just playing into what you're good in, and just working your craft and working your own game.
Bernhard, with the new coaching staff, what's the biggest changes you've seen on the offensive line?
It's hard to tell. I mean, obviously, it's a different coaching change. It's a coaching change, but it's a whole different year for me personally too. I mean, you get settled in year 2. You don't have to get used to an NFL playbook anymore. So for me personally, I just feel so much more comfortable, which is a huge difference to last year. So everything is a little bit slower in my head at least, which allows you to play faster. So that's like the biggest difference to last year. But it's hard to contribute all that to coaching change, or just the difference between year 1 and year 2.
how have you seen